2, 1. Nope. The Myers-Briggs test. I'm just gonna redo that whole intro. What is happening, everybody? Just in case you didn't know, I'm JustinKase, and today we are doing the Myers-Briggs personality test, or the 16 personalities test. Basically, what you do is you sit down. I think there's like 100 questions, like on a 7-point scale. And what you're trying to do by the end of it, if you do answer completely honestly, how you would answer, you'll end up getting a sort of a personality profile. It's called the 16 personalities test because there are 16 different personalities. I think, what are they, like ENFP, INFJ, different stuff like that, represent each letter representative of something else. So one of them would be like how you think mentally, whether you're like judgmental or not, stuff like that. And then it'll actually give you an entire profile at the end that goes over like how you are with like relationships, your strengths, your weaknesses. And it's from what I've heard, it is incredibly accurate. And this is mostly based because Jacksepticeye made a video doing one of these. I have done one before, but I haven't done it in quite a while, and I want to see if my personality's changed at all since I've taken it last. I might do it twice, once on camera, once off camera, because a lot of people say you should do it twice back to back, because the second time you do it, usually you're just naturally a bit more truthful. While the first time it's more what you picture yourself. But that's not necessarily the case. They may end up being the exact same both times I take it. But who knows? I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I feel like I'm going to get a little ranty on a couple things, or go off on something about myself at some point. But I don't know. And a lot of you actually do like apparently learning about me. I know a lot of you really like my vlogs, where it's just me being me. So this is for you. Alright, so yeah, it is going to take less than 12 minutes. Answer honestly, even if you don't like the answer. Try not to leave any neutral questions. So try and avoid the middle. Okay. Let us begin. You find it difficult to introduce yourself to other people. I'm going to say slightly disagree. It started to get a bit harder to introduce myself to people. I feel like I've slowly started to become a little bit more introverted. I used to be extremely extroverted. Now I'm just mostly-ish extroverted. So that's why I disagree as opposed to agree. But yeah. Well, blah, blah. You often get so lost in thoughts that you ignore or forget your surroundings. Sometimes I do. You try to respond to your emails as soon as possible and cannot stand a messy inbox. Super agree. No, mostly agree. I don't go so far as to like delete everything. I just hate seeing a notification icon bugging me. I'm the same with Facebook too. You find it easy to stay relaxed and focused even when there is some pressure. Mostly, stress does get to me. But procrastinating, that sense of pressure makes me do great work. You do not usually initiate conversations. No, I'd slightly disagree. I initiate quite a few conversations. You know, I'd strongly disagree. You rarely do something just out of sheer curiosity. Oh, do I do anything out of curiosity? No, I don't think I do much just out of sheer curiosity. I more think it through and then get other opinions on it. You feel superior to other people? Heck frickin' no. Yeah, heck frickin' no. Being organized is more important to you than being adaptable. I disagree with that. I know I'm not. Like, whether it be in like projects or like being with people, I'm super adaptable. Like, I go with the flow no matter what I'm doing. I'm sometimes organized. I am more like based on improv is how I operate my day-to-day life. You're usually highly motivated and energetic. I'm gonna do that. Usually I'd say a bit higher, but everyone has their off days. Winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset. Mostly agree. For the most part. You often feel as if you have to justify yourself to other people. Oh, do I have to justify myself? Ooh. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, I kind of do feel like I have to justify myself a lot. Like if I make a decision, I have to present a lot of points for people to understand where I'm coming from, I feel. Your home and work environments are quite tidy. Yeah, pretty tidy. Pretty tidy, pretty organized. There is a few messes around my room, like clothes on some parts of the floor, but I try not to. I do not mind being at the center of attention. I'm gonna say kinda. I don't normally like being the center of attention, but if I am the center of attention, I don't super really mind. You consider yourself more practical than creative. I'd kind of disagree with that. People can rarely upset you. Ooh. I'm gonna disagree a bit. I'm a pretty emotional person. Yeah. Your travel plans are usually well thought out. Yes, because I don't like going to places not having any idea what in the world I'm gonna do there. Being more like improv based in my life is one thing. Being in a completely separate place outside of my norm, not knowing at all what in the world I'm gonna do, is quite a different thing. It is often difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings. Highly disagree. I am a super empathetic person, which is kind of a bad thing. Sometimes I'll put myself in other people's shoes too much, and then I'll start using their scenarios on my life and relating it to myself to the point where I start debating my own life, and it gets really bad sometimes. Your mood can change very quickly. I wouldn't. No, I don't think it can change very quickly. If I'm in a good mood, I'll usually stick with that for a long while. It takes something pretty drastic to change my mood. But not so much because my mood can change sometimes. In a discussion, truth should be more important than people's sensitivities. No. I feel like I answered something similar to this question. Yeah, I'm gonna do that one. I'm gonna do that. Because even though to you it may be the truth, depending on their scenario, it may not necessarily be. I know that's one thing, but also at the same time, if you're just forcing your truth on someone else, that's just you being a horrible person. So you have to sort of be careful of other people's feelings at the same time. You rarely worry about how your actions affect other people. Highly disagree. I always worry how like everything I'm doing affects other people. I feel like that's one of the reasons I ended up staying away from like a lot of like drugs and stuff in like high school and into college, because I think about if I took it, how it would affect like my family, my friends, the rest of my like life from then on, which is why I sort of have tended to avoid it. Your work style is closer to random energy spikes than to a methodical and organized approach. Yep. If I'm in the mood to like sit down, get a lot of homework done, I'll do that. But I won't be able to do that like every day. I can't sit down and do that every single day, which is kind of a bad thing. But when I do have random energy spikes, I get tons and tons of work done. It kind of works the same with the videos. Sometimes I'll sit down, make like 5 videos in one day, and then edit most of them that evening. Other days I get out of bed and I just don't want to do anything. I'm just completely tuckered out for some reason right off the bat. You're envious of others. I'd say a little bit, yeah. Jealousy is different. Envy is a different thing. There are a lot of times where I would want myself in different situations, where other people have it a little bit better than I do. Not necessarily, but I mean everyone sort of does that. An interesting book or video game is often better than a social event. Yes. I'm not going to elaborate on that. Or elaborate, not delaborate, I don't know, English stuff. Being able to develop a plan and stick to it is the most important part of every project. Not necessarily. Having a good game plan on projects is good, but if you leave it too planned out, it leaves no room for flexibility. You can't do anything else apart from that. If you have a good idea that doesn't fit into that plan, there's nothing you can do with it, which is why flexibility is a good thing in projects. You rarely get carried away by fantasies and ideas. Nah, I disagree. You often find yourself lost in thought when you're walking in nature. Very much so. I love going on like walks, taking in the scenery. One of the best things to do is just go out for a walk. There's like a forest not too far from where I live, or like a ravine. Walking in, taking a huge breath of the air is like the best best feeling in the world. So good. If someone does not respond to your email quickly, you start worrying if you said something wrong. I wouldn't say email. I don't email a lot of people. But something like texting, I'll sort of start to, I overthink a lot of things. So in that subject, when it comes down to texting, which I'm assuming this question is sort of starting to go along the lines of, I'll be like, oh crap, did I do something I shouldn't have? Was there a sensitive subject I went into that I should have avoided? Should I have worded this differently? Granted, because of that though, I've gotten really, really good at knowing certain people and knowing how to phrase things when I send them to certain people. I'm so good. As a parent, you'd rather see your child grow up kind than smart. 100%. Not fully 100%. I mean, being smart is one thing. It gets you really far in the world we're in. But at the same time, being kind, being nice, being compassionate, I feel is a lot better of a way to live life than to be a genius and have no personality, to be rude to everyone. Not only does it make you feel better being sort of nice to people, but then it makes the world around you a better place at the same time. Cheering other people up. I mean, that's why I do YouTube. The entire thing is to entertain people, to try and make people smile. Yeah. You do not let other people influence your actions. I wouldn't say that necessarily. I do let other people influence my actions, a little bit. Your dreams tend to focus on the real world and its events. Yes. I'll have tons of dreams that somehow relate to the real world. I do have the occasional one where it's just completely random and I have no idea, which is why I don't fully agree. But I'll have when I was in high school, I'd have dreams that, in high school, all the time, which is weird, because sometimes I'd have a dream that would be, horribly similar, and then, a week later, I would see that same exact image that I had in my mind while I was dreaming. It was weird. It's happened a couple times. It's really weird. It does not take you much time to start getting involved in social activities at your new workplace. Oh yeah, I get super involved. When I worked at the movie theater, I hosted one of the cast member awards, which was awesome. You're more of a natural improviser than a careful planner. Yep. No, I'm gonna say mostly. I do plan a couple things. Your emotions control you more than you control them. I'd probably say yes on that as well. It shouldn't. I should try and get more control over my emotions, but sometimes there's not much you can do. You enjoy going to social events that involve dress up or roleplay activities. Heck frickin' yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that one. That's awesome. I wish I could go to more things like that. I mean, I used to be an actor, so naturally that was what I did. I love doing that. I love putting myself in roles. It's awesome. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical yet intriguing. That was a very long sentence that felt like. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical yet intriguing ideas. No. Nah. No, my ideas usually tend to be pretty straightforward, pretty realistic. So I'm gonna go with that. You would rather improvise than spend time coming up with a detailed plan. Heck frickin' yes, that's my life in a nutshell. Every project I've ever done. You are a relatively reserved and quiet person. Heck frickin' no. If you had a business, you would find it very difficult to fire loyal but underperforming employees. I would. If they were loyal, loyalty at a workplace is sometimes better than performance, because there's a lot of times where you can count on them to be there where other people won't. If they're underperforming though, that may be a little bit different. But I am really bad with conflict, with arguments, getting directing something at someone in a negative manner. It's not my favorite thing to do in the world, so yeah. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence. Not really. I'm a pretty neutral guy. I mean, of course, everyone's had that thought at some point, but I don't dwell on it too much. Logic is usually more important than heart when it comes to making important decisions. Heck frickin' no. Keeping your options open is more important than having a to-do list. I would say that. Like I said, I have already said something like that. If your friend is sad about something, you're more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. Ooh, it's weird because I do a bit of both. That might be the one I have to go neutral on. I do a bit of both. I am a very good listener. I love helping people with stuff. That goes back to the sort of empathy thing, putting myself in other people's shoes. That's why I'm very good at picturing what they're going through and trying to help them through it. But at the same time, everyone needs that emotional support sometimes, as opposed to just telling someone how to deal with the problem. Some people, when they're upset, need that emotional support. And if you badger them with how to help them, they won't accept it. And same, vice versa. You rarely feel insecure. Nah, I feel secure sometimes. I'll admit that. You have no difficulties coming up with a personal timetable and sticking to it. I do have a very difficult time. Being right is more important than being cooperative when it comes to teamwork. No, that's stupid. I'm gonna sometimes... No, I'm not even... Being right is not the most important thing in the world. If that's your entire focus going into projects and things like that, there's just... Why? Why do you do that? It's like you basically completely shutting out everyone else's opinion. It's wrong. You think that everyone's views should be respected, regardless of whether they're supported by facts or not. Yeah, I'd say they should be respected. Mostly, to a point. I will gladly let people voice their opinions. Some opinions, like people that are complete racists. Some people that decide that banning entire religions, or like countries from entering their country, all because of religion-ish to a point, not entirely. You guys know where I'm leading on with this, is wrong. I respect that they have their opinion-ish, or no, I do acknowledge that they have an opinion, and I will let them voice it, but I sometimes do not respect it, and I don't agree with it. You guys know what I was leading on to there, in a way. I'm not going to dwell on it. I know there's a lot more to it than the small little bit I said, but okay, we'll move on to it later. I don't like getting into a whole bunch of political stuff. You feel more energetic after spending time with a group of people. Yes, I do. I'm a lot better in public. I'm a lot happier than when I'm alone. I feel like that's how it goes with a lot of people, because when you're alone, you sort of dwell with your thoughts. When I'm with people, I usually go back to being my normal happy self, which is good. I slapped my pop filter. You frequently misplace your things. No, I'm pretty good with remembering where my stuff is. You see yourself as very emotionally stable. To a point. On this one, I'm gonna sort of agree. I don't have much control over my emotions. Inside. On the outside, I am very good at portraying whatever emotion I need to. That goes back to the whole adaptable thing that I brought up. Oh, but that's... I don't know about that one. I'm gonna leave it as that. Your mind is always buzzing with unexplored ideas and plans. Nah, not really. If I have an idea, there's something I want to do, I usually just do it. I don't like putting things off because then I forget about it. Man, that question here, I feel like I'm like counteracting things I've said already earlier, but I can't remember. Would you not call yourself a dreamer? Oh no, I'm very much a dreamer. Yeah. Usually you find it difficult to relax when talking in front of many people. No, I'm very good at talking in front of a lot of people. I've sang at churches, I've done choir for years, I've done multiple plays as some of the main supporting roles. Yeah, I've sung by myself, a solo in front of an audience of people. That's just who I am. I'm just really good at public speaking. I didn't used to be, though. Generally speaking, you rely more on your experience than your imagination. Kind of, yeah. I'm a bit of a realist. But yeah, because sometimes, I mean, once again, not all the time. Sometimes I do rely more on my imagination, free thinking, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you've experienced something close to it before, and you can sort of picture whatever situation, whatever experience you're going through, you can more realistically picture how it's going to end up. That goes back to my overthinking. I'll usually try and think out every single possible possibility to a situation. So I usually go off my gut, off my personal experience over imagination. You worry too much about what other people think. Probably a little too much. I probably do a little bit more than I'd normally say. Oh gosh, I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like I'd like to say that I'm a very independent person, and I make my own decisions, and I'm my own lead in my life. At the end of the day, I'm very reliant on other people. If the room is full, you stay close to the walls, avoiding the center. No, not necessarily. I'll float around. I'll float between conversations at some parties. If I know absolutely no one, then yeah, sure, I'll stick to the walls. But even then, I'll try and float around a little bit, make it look like I'm mingling. You have a tendency to procrastinate until there's, yep, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna go full on with that. You feel very anxious in stressful situations. Yes. I won't go full, but yeah, I get very anxious. You believe that it is more rewarding to be liked by others than to be powerful. Yes. Power is not everything. I know some people, power, having control over a lot of things, is one of the leading things in their life. That's what they are striving for, is more power. But that's wrong. I don't agree with it. You always have been interested in unconventional and ambiguous things. In books, art, and movies. 100%. Fully. I was always an artsy kind of person. I love movies. Yeah. You often take initiative in social situations. Yeah, I'd say so. Results. Let's see how it comes up. ESFP. Oh, that's different from what I've had before. I think last time I was ENF. Well, okay, it's pretty close. I think I was ENFP before. How long have we done? 22 minutes. Holy frick. Okay, so yeah, I'm more extroverted than introverted. I think I'd agree with that, yep. I'm almost 50-50 on intuitive and observant, which I guess makes sense. I'm 100% feeling overthinking, if you couldn't tell. Prospecting over judging. Might have to do more research into that one. More turbulent than assertive. Yeah, that makes sense. Start reading. Okay, I'm just gonna read this first page. I may go into some of these later, probably not, but just a couple things. See how close it actually is to us. If anyone is to be found spontaneously breaking into song and dance, is the entertainer personality type. Entertainers get caught up in the excitement of the moment and want everyone else to feel that way too. No other personality type is as generous with their time and energy as entertainers when it comes to encouraging others. And no other personality type does it with such irresistible style. Heck yeah, girl. We're all of us stars. Entertainers love the spotlight, and the world's a stage. Many famous people with the entertainer personality type are indeed actors. Shocker, that's very fitting. But they love putting on a show for their friends too. Chatting with a unique and earthy wit, soaking up attention, and making every outing feel a bit like a party. Utterly social, entertainers enjoy the simplest things, and there's no greater joy for them than just having fun with a good group of friends. I'd agree with that. The biggest challenge entertainers face is that they are often so focused on immediate pleasures that they neglect the duties and responsibilities that make those luxuries possible. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Complex analysis, repetitive tasks, and matching statistics to real consequences are not easy activities for entertainers. I might disagree with it. I overanalyze everything. That's the one thing. I hate repetitive tasks. I absolutely can't stand it. So that hit the nail on the head right there. Entertainers recognize value and quality, which on its own is a fine trait. In combination with their tendency to be poor planners, though, this can cause them to live beyond their means, and credit cards are especially dangerous. I have a little bit of control. More focused on leaping at opportunities than in planning out long-term goals. Entertainers may find that their inattentiveness has made some activities unaffordable. Who are some entertainers? Adele, Marilyn Monroe, Jamie Oliver, Jamie Foxx, Adam Levine, Miley Cyrus, Serena Williams, Steve Irwin, Den Leon, Is it Dandelion? I don't know. Egret, Penny, Angela, Gob Bluff, Lindsay Bluff, Funk, Peregrine Took, Pippin, Jack Dawson. Sweet, cool. Okay, that's I think where I'm gonna end this episode. But yeah, if you guys want to go check this out, it is literally 16personalities.com. That's pretty much it. And there is a whole bunch more, like explore your type, strengths, weaknesses, romantic relationships, friendships, parenthood, career paths, workplace habits, conclusion. And they're all completely full paragraphs like this one. I think even like the strengths and weaknesses one gets way more in depth. It like really gets down to it. What are some of mine? Yeah, sensitive, conflict averse, easily bored, poor long-term planners, unfocused. Yeah, but bold, original, aesthetics and showmanship, practical, observant, excellent people skills. Yep, I would agree with all that. But yeah, if you guys like this, be sure to hit the like button. If you want to see something similar to this again in the future, let me know down in the comments below. I love letting you guys know more into my own personal life, because then it sort of builds that connection that we have with each other that I'm striving, that's what I'm here for, basically. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And that's pretty much it. So one last time, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you